session by Fareed. Actually, Fareed, you made my life easy, right? Because we are talking about managing customer expectation to survive or thrive, and the examples that you gave, especially on that entire bot and that entire VOC, actually is the app example when you say that how do you really go ahead and look at your customer experience expectations, and then go ahead and make certain so with that, let me just move on. While we say managing customer expectations to survive or thrive, I would say let's not look at managing. Right? Managing is good, but if you want to be great, you need to exceed your customer expectations. I also want to add a comma and say profitably. Right? It's no CFO, no CEO will agree to invest in any customer experience investment if at the end of the day it's not profitable. Right? So you need to exceed the expectation profitably. I would say don't survive but thrive. I don't want to give you any global gyan here, but thought before I actually move into my presentation, a couple of pages I picked up from Google. Right? I was just reading and I just kind of collated that and said that let's look at the various changes in the customer behavior across. Yes, our customers are highly connected today, be it social or when you talk about that entire collaboration, because today when we look at, let's say a Twitter, right? One person will tweet about the next thing. There would be hundreds of people who have no connection to that person, right? Would jump in. And that's what I would say, it's collaborative, right? Well informed and empowered. Now, pandemic actually made this possible. There were a lot of things which each and every company was thinking whether we should go ahead and talk about certain things on the digital front. Should we go ahead and empower our customers for the DIY? But pandemic forced all of us to really go ahead and enable that, even if we didn't want to do it, right? We talk about agents, contact center agents. We want them to be enabled or learn each and everything about a company. They are the least in the pyramid. But at the same time, they are the least trusted souls in the entire company. Right? Again, the information and empowerment to them also is the point that I want to make here. Impatient. Customers want it as of yesterday. We are seeing grocery deliveries now. Who would have thought that we would need groceries in 10 minutes? Right? Now, just imagine, we are saying that, hey, grocery delivery 10 minutes, but that's possible, and people are using it. I still wonder that what will be the real situation where you really need, your set of groceries in 10 minutes, right? But it's working, right? Because that's the change. So our customers want things on the go. Again, linked to that, very demanding, right? And that demand actually is, we ourselves, today in this room, we have so many people from various industries, right? Each of us is actually, even if we are not part of the same industry, we are making competition for each other, right? You talked about the chatbot, right? Now chatbots today as a consumer, it's not about, chatbot I use only for one particular service of mine. I use chatbot for my financial services. I use chatbot for ordering food. I use chatbot for ordering, groceries, jewelry as well, right? So we are making competition, for ourselves, and that's a healthy competition, I would say. Especially in insurance, 1 out of 2 customers actually are going online. My friend from 𝗧𝗏 is here. Now you would agree that today, buying insurance, people really want to go online, check. They may not buy online. That's the other fact. Okay. While we say that everyone wants to go online, but insurance, buying online, it doesn't work, right? People still go and meet the agent. The only difference is that while comparing, the customer becomes more informed, educated, and while talking to the agent, the customer can negotiate better, right? So that's the change. 29% of consumers have actually switched their insurance provider after pricing, doing that entire Googling, right? Maybe from 𝗧𝗏 to BAGIC, from BAGIC to 𝗧𝗏, right? That's what's happening, right? But that's a reality, and that's the challenge that you need to take care, right? Because customers are getting educated, they are getting connected, and this number will only increase, right? And that's the way, the player who's able to take care of this is the one who's going to be that great, not only good. 70% of millennials feel that 24/7 service is very important because these people don't sleep, right? Their sleep time actually is very less. I was reading again on Google, right? Millennials, actually sleep around 31% less than our generation, right? So that's what it is, right? They need, because they are awake, right? They want to buy the insurance in the middle of the night as well. Our generations will never wake up thinking that, hey, I want to buy an insurance today. But these guys are, right? They want us to be there with them 24/7. And of course, I'm not going to touch more on this. Digital CX, we all have spoken a lot about this. This is the game. This is the way to go. Whether you like it or you don't like it, you have to be there. I also thought this is interesting. I just picked it up from PwC. Look at efficiency. That's the biggest one. We talk about automation, right, a lot. But is the customer looking for that? Perhaps no. If your automation is helping the customer to get much efficient delivery, then yes. But like, Fareed, before you, there was a panel discussion. So in that, the person said, automation, right? You don't do automation just for the sake of doing automation, right? Look at the real use case and then go ahead with the automation. I'm a strong believer of that. And with that, let me just quickly go into the GAN again. This is the strategy that we follow at Bajik. For any of the technologies today, we don't look at the technology at all. We only look at the use case. We only look at what customer is actually wanting or expecting us to do. And that's where it starts from the step number 1, that you have to listen to your customer each and every time. And Fareed talked about omni-channel, right? Omni and multi-channel is the key, right? You need to be there, present everywhere. You need to have those integrated systems where you are able to pick each and every interaction, each and every footprint of your customer. Then you also need to have those relevant technologies again to really get the actionable insights from that entire listening in from your customers. Now, when you do that, don't only look at what the customer has actually stated, because that's the least that the customer wants, because the customer has actually mentioned that. Look at and explore the unstated needs. What a customer may be looking or perhaps is not expecting from you as a company or the brand to deliver. But can you go ahead and really delight that customer? Because that will help you to exceed the customer expectation. If you're only looking at the stated needs, it will only help you to manage your customer expectations. To exceed the unstated needs is the key. Then look at, what all do you have got. You have listened to the customers, now you have the stated needs and the unstated needs. Here comes the Six Sigma thing of gap analysis, where you actually go ahead and say, okay, this is the stack on the left side, what my customers are wanting, and my unstated needs of the customer. On the right side, this is what I currently have, my entire technology stack, my entire people, right, the infrastructure, and that's the gap analysis that you do. And there you do that ruthless, as we say, prioritization. You can't do everything at one go, right? So that old formula of, look at what is the high impact, right, and perhaps low in the effort, just go ahead and first do that. Those are the real low-hanging fruits which can actually give you, look at that Pareto as well. At times 20% of your effort will give you that 80% of the entire, desired results. And when you go ahead and do that, then you actually deploy the right technology. So actually the technology comes at the last. When you look at each and every use case in our company, the technology piece is at the last. technology is only going to be the enabler, and that's how we need to look at that. Right? It's a commoditized product. Right? We talk about technology. The way I look at it, technology actually is a commoditized entity now. Right? You talk about a customer insight platform or a CRM, more or less each and every company would give you the same thing. Not going to be much of a difference. Maybe the jargons, the way an X company would want to sell or talk about that particular capability would be different. But the end result is same. Right? So don't only look at that technology, look at that. Now with that, I thought it will be prudent for me to share some live examples with you, right, of our company. Right? I'm not going to pick any other company, guys, sorry. Right? This is what 𝗏𝗏𝗃 has tried, tested, and being successful in that. I'm not going to talk much about it because Fareed actually talked a lot on the entire bot in WhatsApp, right? But this was a savior for us, to thrive during the pandemic when the entire contact center was shut down overnight, right? The bot on the WhatsApp with a seamless transfer to an agent, live agent, actually made it possible for us. And today, every 1 out of 3 customer of mine uses this service across all the platforms. Let me now just show you on short video just play it.
Sorry, 1 minute.
मैडम, अरे ध्यान से चलाना चाहिए आपको। हाँ? देखा देखा, मैंने कहा था ना कि लड़की होगी।
मैडम, मैं कुछ हेल्प करूं क्या आपकी?
ठोक दी। अरे चलिए मैडम, आपको गैराज तक छोड़ दूं।
यहाँ गाड़ी ठुक गई और इनको सेल्फी लेनी है।
अरे इनको एल मार्क लगा के चलानी चाहिए गाड़ी।
हेलो मैम, क्या आप ठीक हैं? क्या मैं आपकी कुछ मदद कर सकता हूँ?
नहीं, यहाँ तो बहुत लोग हैं मदद करने के लिए। तू बता ना, बता दे क्या हो रहा है? अरे कहाँ गया भाई? हेलो, अरे आप बता दीजिए क्या चल रहा है? क्या हुआ? आप बता दीजिए। एक्सक्यूज मी, क्या हो रहा है यहाँ पर? नहीं?
मैम, आपने तो सारा प्रोसेस अकेले कर लिया। आई विल टेक केयर ऑफ द रेस्ट।
ओके। हाँ पापा, वो गाड़ी का थोड़ा सा एक्सीडेंट हो गया है। नहीं, टेंशन वाली कोई बात नहीं है, मैंने संभाल लिया।
इस वुमेन्स डे इन स्टीरियोटाइप्स पे लगाएं ब्रेक, क्योंकि हम जानते हैं रोड पर आए कोई भी मुश्किल कॉन्फिडेंस से वो संभाल लेगी। A message by Bajaj Allianz General Insurance, proud supporter of women car owners with our 24/7 spot assistance. We are caringly yours because you are special.
Now that's our motor on the spot claim settlement process for you. And that's what I say, it's not about managing the expectation, but actually going ahead and exceeding the expectation profitably as well. Because a customer going to a garage directly and then getting the work done and then the entire claim systems works and you will have the surveyor and all those stuff, then this particular process is much more cheaper to the company as well. So that's the profitability. The other piece is the entire experience. A customer who's able to get this will never go off. That customer will get you 10 more customers for sure. So your entire NPS, your CSATs here will actually help you get your top line as well, while the bottom line has been taken care of by taking care of the cost here. Moving ahead, Travel Easy, a blockchain solution, an automated solution where we said that you don't need to register for a claim if your flight is delayed. Our blockchain solution automatically detects that yes, this particular customer is eligible for the claim. We do all the processing at the back end, and the customer gets the notification that the money is credited to the bank account. Without the customer coming in and saying, hey, I was delayed or I was not delayed, you know, the flight, this was the issue because of the rains. It was raining heavily in Bangalore. All the flights got delayed. My flight got cancelled. Nothing. All that data is available. It's a very simple blockchain solution that we have deployed. But again, this again is an example where we said that you don't only manage the expectation, but you actually go ahead and exceed those expectations. Now, if I were to tell you, farmers of India, every day, 3 lakh farmers actually are active on a mobile app given to them by the insurance company. And that's FarmMitra. And that's the unstated needs I was talking about. Because a farmer in India, perhaps he or she needs the insurance company only to register a claim when there are floods. Right? There is no other engagement, there is nothing else. And that's the only stated need that the farmer has. That hey, if my crop goes bad, please help me to get the claim. The unstated needs, all the services that we have enabled on this app actually enables the farmer to do the farming better. There are many alerts, there are many advisories that we give to the farmers. And of course, it's in multilingual, right? We're not only talking about English or Hindi. Let's say if you're a farmer in Nashik, it will be in Marathi. The last point actually, we talk about customer experience, but we actually forget about the employee. If your employee is happy, that employee will ensure that a superior experience is delivered to your customer. And that's why this equation is very important. That your employee experience actually is equal to your customer experience. Because the unhappy employee will never deliver anything. Forget about that. Now, just to engage our employees, right, we launched our in-house program which is called Celebrating You. Here, you is the employee. Right? And we then said that let's put 4 pillars to this entire Celebrating You. The first one being fun do, which is nothing but fun at work. Right? Monday blues, Friday funs, Wednesdays dances, all of that is part of fun at work. We said connect. We usually don't connect with our employee families. I guess that's the bottleneck. If you're able to build a connect with an employee family members, those family members will ensure that that employee doesn't leave you and does well. Tried and tested. Enhance. Nothing but just go ahead and look at their entire learning and development, and I'll touch base on this a little bit more in the next slide. Nourish is about linked to our tagline, which is caringly yours, which is not only for our customers or partners, but for our employees as well. That we do care for you. So this is all about that healthy lifestyle, healthy workplace, right? We run contests, for example, that if you quit smoking, right? The number of people who will quit smoking in the next 6 months, after 6 months, perhaps you will win yourself a MacBook. Right? But the whole idea is that we want to showcase that yes, we care. Right? And this is also connecting to the families. So that MacBook is not given actually to the employee, we call upon the family member. And we thank that family member, to help us make this possible. I was talking about learning and development. This is how we go ahead in our company. We say that let's ensure that entire learning and development strategy that we have, 50% should be focused on upskilling the employee. Look at future ready solutions, because these employees only will get it. For example, metaverse. We all know metaverse is there in the future. But do we really invest in our employees today who can actually deliver that metaverse tomorrow? What we rather do is we look for experts from outside who will come perhaps at a higher salary, right, than the existing ones, and create that bad experience for the existing employee. Why can't we actually upskill that particular employee that we have today, right, and make sure that an employee does it for us in the next future? Of course, Farid talked about metrics, right? That's linked to this on the job. The job that you are currently doing, how can we make you more efficient in that job? Is the next 30%. The balance 20% is creating future leaders. So this is about those employees. We pick those employees. For example, today we run a program which is called a MD Club. So there are these managers, okay, who have been handpicked, and they have the direct line of access to the CEO. The CEO is directly mentoring them, coaching them, and has given each one of them a separate project which is over and above their line job. So this is about that. At the end, let's not complicate our lives. The entire customer experience service is simple. So let's make ours, our partners, and our customers' life simpler, and let's not get into that entire jargons or that entire technology fray by looking at AI, ML, and all those stuff. Yes, good. But if it's going to make the life of our customers simple, then yes, right? Because the left side is perhaps where typically when we look at the technology we deploy, the customer is looking at the left side. But when we look at the use case and then comes the technology, that's the right side. Right? With that, I'll end my presentation. Thank you.
Is there an angle of fraud also that creeps in? And if your answer to that is yes, then how do you balance the two? Because you have to make life simple for the customer. Similarly, you will have to protect your top line and bottom line and loss ratio and all of that. How do you do that?
Thanks for that question. Is right. The probability of the errors leading to frauds as well is very, very high. Okay, so that's a statement which comes, right? Is it familiar to everyone? The probability of a fraud. Now there, when you look at a holistic picture, right? And that's why I said use case and then technology, right? Because typically when you only look at the technology, you will get a solution and you will deploy it. You will not look at the various integrations of that and how each and every step of yours or the implementation that you are doing will impact the other parties. It's not only fraud, right? There could be n number of other partners as well, or the stakeholders as well, which will come into the play and say, hey, this has another data security risk, this has that risk, that Y risk. The way I do it is CBA. There is a fraud risk. If you can't mitigate that, put the CBA on the table. If the benefit is much higher than the probability of a fraud, let's take that risk and move ahead. Let the fraud control team also do their job, because their job is to catch all those frauds, right? So let them do their job. You do yours.